I don't hear you yet. I know you're probably.
Okay, it says it's
You'll be
6.
lurking. Okay, I'll introduce you in a little bit.
It says 8 minutes, so I'm gonna post that link in here.
Yeah, already people are filtering in. So that's good. Hey, everybody. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you. Hello, hello, everyone. We're just filtering in. We sincerely hope we will not have the crashes of last week. Different computer. I'm so glad that you liked the story, Jahiro. Edward's voice is gorgeous, and you will be hearing it live soon. Lily, I'm very excited what you have to tell us. Hi, everybody. Hi, hi, hi. Hello, hello, hello. Paulinette, thank you for letting us know that you thought that. They did so much hard work. This has been quite the undertaking for them, and I cannot tell you how grateful I am for their just everything they put into this, like their enthusiasm, their professionalism. It's just amazing. It's truly, truly amazing. I think I've told you guys this before, but when I was meeting with all of them, when we were doing some of the not the videos for asking questions and talking about life and acting and everything, I had the worst imposter syndrome feeling. So I was sort of like overwhelmed by this sense that these incredibly talented people would be acting my work because I couldn't imagine that I was worthy of that kind of attention. I feel that way, of course, when all of you are listening and reading and commenting too. Don't get me wrong, but it was like a live thing, so it really like was scary. And they're all so nice though. Oh, Ken, I'm glad that you said that the audiobook is really great. It's magic. Wonderful. They just do such good work. And Kat has seriously outdone herself with music and other parts of the editing. They have an editor there too, so I don't want to they just amazing. I mean, everyone's just really thrown themselves in. Yes, Anascaria, this is like very true. That the editing is on point. Cats and theirs. I don't know the name of the editor over there,
Matt.
Matt, but they actually read ahead, so they would find out. The Crimson Sorcerer. I like my voice too, and I probably will. I may do 2 Empire of Stars live readings a month now that I won't have anything else to do in terms of. But we'll see. We'll see what I'm going to do because I miss it. But I'm not anywhere near as good as them. So let's see here. Of course, already the chat's like out of sync. Um,
Uh-oh.
so yeah, Essence. It's funny. People find things all the time. When we were first just screening this chapter, people were like, oh, there's not as many people as there were for the end of Dragon's Reign. I'm like, of course not. It's new. Did you lose something? What's wrong?
It's. I see people like
Yeah,
fingers crossed that we were not gonna crash.
we're not crashing. We're not crashing.
Yay.
We're not crashing. So we're actually fine. We're up, but yes, we are getting up there, but we're below what we were before. But so everyone's going to like learn about Everdark and they're going to love it because these actors are amazing and it's a really good story. And we have vampires. I mean, who does not love vampires? Who does not love vampires? I do not go to any conventions, Danny. Conventions are really there for to have fun at. It's very expensive endeavor and I'm shy. um yes, I mean it's honestly you share your writing with the world and to be honest with you, it's sort of a crazy thing. I love how you're worried about Everdark Academy. That's like 3 years away if we did it. I would love to have them do it again. I would love to have to be quite frank, them do like everything. But I think Edward does not need to be doing stuff for Raythe all the time. Yes, definitely have to catch up on Empire of Stars. I live read that like once a month, and maybe would be doing twice. We'll see. Um, I'm so glad that you're excited, Stephanie. Yes, actually, I wanted to make an announcement about that. So, for those of you who purchased the hardbacks, I finally have got myself all in order, and I am literally, most of them are packaged into my left with me having written something in there, whether what you asked, but also a private message from me. We got onto stamps.com, and everybody pretty much is going to get some amount refunded to them for the shipping. I will say, for example, not be here today, but she will be happy to know that her shipping is like $21 versus, 60. So that'll be good. We're also opening up the uh, for more hardcovers. So I think, Kat, that's up on the shop. If you could also like pin a comment or something, we shall see there, or give me it. So this will be awesome. When is the next Empire of Stars? It will probably be, I think, the 17th, the third Saturday in July. Hey, Crystal. Okay. With amazing voice acting. No. No, I actually am the only one who does that. Yeah, they need more. So, oh my goodness, we got somebody who did something very lovely. Lily, you don't have to do a super chat. Okay. Oh my God, Lily, that is amazing. Congratulations. You're having a baby. Oh my God. That is just phenomenal. Congratulations. I knew that you met her through us, but still, I am just blown away. I'm blown away. Oh, that's just so wonderful. Oh, congratulations to both of you. Congrats. We're so happy over here. It's wonderful. Got to do something about that. They got to do something fun. That's fantastic. Oh, how good. Who knew that we were bringing people together in that way? Ness, thank you so much for touting this. So if you just listen to chapter 1 and you're like, I want to know what happens, I don't want to wait a week, you don't have to wait a week. In fact, you can listen to all 15 without interruption, with all the sex in them, although there's not much romantic times in this first volume. Right now, if you sign up for Raythe Rain, you can live stream them and continue on right now to know what happens. You can also purchase the audiobook for $25 right now. So you can hear the first 15 chapters, the first volume of it. So it's about, I think, 7 hours. I think about that. Yeah, 7 hours of audio, professional audio, which would be great. So, yeah, that's a good point for Raythe have said that. Raythe, Kat having said that. Okay, here we go. Kayla, Kat, I think has posted a link, but we're gonna post another link so that you can, just so it makes clear, Kayla, you stream as a member. You stream them, so there's not downloadable there. If you want to download them, purchase them, you go to the shop where you will pay for them, and then you'll be downloading them as MP3s. And we'll be putting that link on. Lily, everyone's sending you amazing congratulations. Amazing congratulations. So I just love this question. So when Edward comes on, he's waiting in the wings right now, although I'm going to be bringing him on soon. Just think, Edward, you could be doing this for the next 10 years and never stop. Oh my goodness. Yes. Really and truly, when I first heard Edward's audition for Cinders and Ashes, because this is the first time I heard from him, I feel like I've known him for so long, even though it hasn't really been that long. I was just floored because when I began doing audiobooks for my books in 2011, I had 4 people audition, even though I was willing to pay top dollar. 4, just 4. And one of them sounded like Dr. Evil, who was stroking his cat. Mr. Harding! I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad. I could not pay people to do a gay romance. And then, skip forward 10 years later, and I hear we have 100 or something more auditions, and there is Edward. And I was just floored that someone of this quality would audition. I mean, he just outstrips everybody. And one of the main things about, at first, I said I wanted him to do everything and Hannah to just do the women. Like, I didn't want anyone but Edward to do every single voice. And it's a lot though. It's a lot. It's still a lot because he does most of it, like 95%. And but they're like, well, wait, we can get people in to do these other voices. Let's try this. But the problem is when he's so good, others have to reach his level. And that was a sticking point, that I was like, this is just going to be, we can't have somebody playing Julian and Christian or, Kaymorn or Arceus that doesn't reach Edward. But, he and Hannah figured it out. I still don't know how. And we're going to have him on in a second. I just want to go through this and then I'm going to introduce him so that you can all hear from him. And it's just going to be amazing. So, yeah. Stephanie, 3 years, it's 147 chapters. So that's 147 weeks for those people who want to wait and listen versus, for example, Raythe Rain members, you obviously have the first whole volume. And then on the day that the second volume starts, chapter 16 starts for the podcast, you're going to get like 16 through 30, whatever the second volume is. Well, we're glad you're checking it out, Jody. It's a new one for everyone. I'm going to be honest with you, without Her Grace reads like these, I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't want to brag on them, but they do stuff for, I don't want to say what they've done stuff for, but basically, trust me when I tell you that we are such tiny, tiny potatoes for what they've normally done. So we have had, they are top-notch professionals. Without them, this could not happen. I wouldn't have even considered it, to be honest with you. Even if I had money to burn in a barrel, I would never have considered it because, quite frankly, it just could not be done without Hannah and all those group there, with that ability to keep going on. It's a massive undertaking. So for those of you thinking, oh, I'll just get a bunch of my friends together to do this for a huge project, trust me when I tell you, it may look effortless. It is not. But you know what? I'm going to bring Edward on now. So Edward, would you, I have the honor and privilege of having Edward Fox on. He plays the narrator, Balthazar, and Daemon. And he is such a wonderful person. I've learned a lot from listening to him and having him on. So I really hope that technology does not fail us now. And I really want you to say a very nice hello to Edward Fox.
Well, that's quite the build-up. Thank you very much, Raythe. It's a pleasure to be here, everyone.
I can't hear
Hello.
him in my headphones,
You can't hear me?
which is just funny.
Well, it says I'm broadcasting.
Can anyone else hear him?
Yes, apparently they can. Maybe they can't. Who knows? Hi, everyone. It's really great to meet you.
I'm not hearing him at all, Kat.
Yeah. He's on.
That's going to make it interesting,
Can you speak again, Edward?
I can. Hi. Here
There's
I
a
am.
huge
There's
delay.
maybe a delay. Wow. This is amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for making me feel so welcome and for saying such lovely things.
This is going to be ironic because I cannot hear him.
Listen listen to my stream. There's a huge delay, so.
Okay, I have Kat's headphones on now.
Let's try again. That's like a 4-second delay between us. Crazy.
Okay.
Yes. Lily, we
So
will
we're going
take
to have
over
to
the
learn
stream.
not to talk over one another?
Good luck with that.
Oh, God.
Yes,
So a
Eleanor,
solution for
cinders and
this
ashes.
is we're going to try something in terms of maybe having an Zoom, and maybe they'll be able to hear him over Zoom.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Danny, that's wonderful to hear. Cinders and Ashes is a very beautiful project. It's one of the things that attracted me to it. I can see all your comments, and I'm having great fun being part of this. It's something. This only exists because of Raythe's lovely work and, of course, your support. That's the thing. That's how people have careers as fans. So now apparently Lily and I have taken over the stream while Raythe and Kat sort this out. So I'll just keep talking. From the Virgin Islands. Fantastic. This is an incredible international audience, isn't it?
So you can hear each other, there's just a huge delay? Okay. Let me restart my stream and see if that fixes it.
Essence, I think that's a good point. We as humans have been telling stories again and again and again. And that Cinderella story is quite an amazing one if you go back and read some of the originals. It's pretty dark, actually. I think there's something about blood running down her leg into the shoe at some point. Oh, that's right. It's the evil stepsisters who cut off their heels so their feet will fit into the shoe. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. I am. Thank you very much. I do like to hear it. I'll be honest with you. It's nice to be told things like that. Jody, I do indeed. Each of the characters, when I'm narrating, or whether it's on audiobooks or video games or anything, trying to find the character's voice is a huge part of what we do as actors. So yes, King Daemon has a very different voice than the narrator and from Balthazar. Texas, Penumbra, all the way down south. I do indeed. I am not British. Some of you might think I am, but I'm not. I've traveled the world a lot, and so my accent has sort of become one of those mid-Atlantic accents that it's difficult to place. But originally, I'm actually from Australia. But I don't know if you want to hear King Daemon like this. I mean, it's a choice. I pushed for it, but I'm not sure that Raythe was so keen for that.
Is he just hosting the chat now?
I would love to hear, King Daemon as Australian.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. It's a choice. That's not a vampire. This is a vampire. Oh, yes. I very much enjoyed learning more of Daemon as he went on with the... for me, it's actually him being so beautiful, and wanting to share his beauty with everyone and no one else getting that. That he's just bringing pleasure to the world by not wearing much. I always found those scenes quite quite funny. And that's another thing I love about Everdark, and I'm sure that you all understand that, is there's such a wonderful mix of humor, pathos, love, lust, wonderful fantasy and adventure elements. I love all those things. Everdark Down Under. Maybe we can push Raythe to write a spin-off where Christian and Julian go down under for drop bears, Raythe. Oh, we have some Aussies here from Melbourne. That's a long way down south.
That would be very fun, I think.
Different. I have not met Morgan Freeman, although that would be quite something, wouldn't it? He has an amazing
Didn't you
voice.
try to do in one of There's such a huge delay. I can't. I'm going to speak for just a second because there's such a huge delay and I don't want to go over Edward. We're trying to figure out something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to open Zoom and actually have him on Zoom. So my mic would be cut. Would be We'll cover both of us. So hold on one second here. Let me just do this right now. I want to start.
Technology. You know, Book Hoarding Dragon, that doesn't sound bad at all. Yes, Eleanor, turn it off again and or belt the side of it, right?
Edward, I've sent you a new link.
Perfect. How about now?
Can you hear him now, guys? I can hear him.
I can hear you too.
Okay, my God, this might actually work.
We can actually talk to each other like humans. What a concept.
Okay, so I was just, to be honest with you, I was laughing my ass off because I was like, don't talk over him. And then, of course, I tried to time it, and I did. So this will just be fun. We are definitely doing Streamlabs next time, Edward. We are definitely doing Streamlabs.
OBS Streamlabs, we'll set it up beforehand.
Yes. But at least it's not kicking us all out, which is pretty
Just
good.
checking, have we got an echo? Book Hoarding Dragon's telling us we've got an echo on the stream. Can we give it a quick... There is indeed a small echo.
Yeah, that's because you're not on headphones.
Yeah, I'm not on headphones, and if I go on headphones, I can't actually hear you, nor can they hear you, because they're literally, it's picking it up via the computer speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a terrible echo? How bad is the echo?
Silence.
I know. We hear a small echo. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want it to be awful.
I tried putting your headphones on.
It's like being on Skype? Okay, not that bad. Like I said, we'll fix this next time.
We will. So, what should we talk about?
Oh gosh. You know what I always have wanted to know, Edward, is why um did you audition for Sinners and Ashes? Was it just because it was there? Probably because it was just there. But was there anything that draw you to audition the first time? Because I know that I think you guys had just started your studio around then. Am I crazy, or am I totally making that up?
No, that is when Hannah convinced me to come on board and start doing more work with her Grace Reed studio. And I was keen to branch out of the work which I'd been doing, which was a lot of period romance books and the occasional sort of terrible mystery or crime drama. And I'm a huge fan of fantasy, both science fiction, speculative fiction, and this was one of those things that, number one, the cover art was quite
Yeah.
amazing. It lifted it out of the mass of self-produced works.
We actually have Sylvia Frost. She does all our, I don't even know what you call it, all our design work. And honestly, her ability to use text, who knew that type was so important? But it is. I mean, she designed the Everdark new stuff. She actually now puts together not only how the site looks, but how every book cover looks, how every image is going to be.
I would really call her a visual marketer.
She's a visual marketer.
Yeah.
Okay, the echo got bad. Sorry, guys.
Point the microphone a little bit away from the laptop speakers. That's the problem. So if we just like scooch that over there, then you might be good.
How about this? Is it a little bit better?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Just don't get too close.
I won't get too close, guys. I apologize. This is definitely janky. Edward, can you hear me?
I can indeed.
Okay, good. I love that the echo sounds oddly fitting. So Essence wanted to know, how did you get into voice acting? By the way, guys, Edward's like an actor. He like does everything. He's done movies. You've done movies, television, games,
I have.
everything.
Yeah. I've got to work on 3 auditions this weekend. One for a video game, one for TV, one for a movie. So, thank goodness I'm still working.
Which is very exciting. I mean, it's really neat, I'm sure, to know that you're doing all this stuff, to be honest with you. Do you have a favorite medium that you like to work in, or are they all just working together? Like, do you love doing, like, for example, movies versus, I don't know, audiobooks or games?
I don't have a favorite medium. I am a huge fan of just working like anyone in this
Did we
business.
lose Edward again? We lost Edward again.
I'm just checking,
Edward.
muting and unmuting myself.
You're now muted.
Am I?
You were, and it was really
Oh.
bizarre.
Crazy. Where were we?
Oh, I wanted to know if you liked, one medium better than another in terms of like acting.
Not really. I enjoy for myself stage the most because there's an immediate feedback from the audience. It's we're all doing this together in the same room, so that's very exciting. Music theatre is honestly the best of those because there is, especially things like Beauty and the Beast, shows like that, because you have an auditorium full of people of all ages just getting swept away in stories very much like yours, Raythe. Perhaps less less erotica or romance, shall we say, but I love that. I love video games because I love playing video games. And I really love film for its intimate nature. It really is something which you can immediately look back on the monitor and look back at how hard everyone's working to make you look amazing, to do practical effects and stunts and all sorts of things. So, no, I don't really have a favorite. I just enjoy getting to work. And things like this, working with a team of voice actors to tell an amazing story and having these amazing fans here who can give us feedback for both good or ill.
Right.
And be engaged. So this for me is a new thing of engaging directly with all of you and in real time getting this feedback.
So someone wants to know whether you have a fan site so that they could see you, but I know that you go under a different name for
I do.
audio work.
I do.
But you can at least go to her Grace Reads and you can see some of the other work. I think you've done Edward there and some of Hannah's work too.
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I do indeed have used pseudonyms in different areas of my work, because let's just say that there are some employers out there, ladies and gentlemen, that wouldn't appreciate if we were to do work that we love as actors.
Yes. So that's like one of the big things there. So let's see what someone has to say here. It's really interesting. Erotica and romance. And I think, Edward, we actually talked about that a little bit
Mm.
in one of our, joint discussions with everyone. There is a big difference. And believe me, I love both. But it was funny when YouTube, Edward, put the ban hammer on some of our sex scenes. So we're having to edit them out, and they're only now available on the private podcast and the audiobook. But
Mm.
what was funny is when Kat had to go through, I think, all 140 chapters of Dragon's Reign, which was the book that I did in my little way, and there was only like 5 chapters of it. So that's an interesting sex to story ratio.
Yeah.
Everdark has a bit more spice, a bit more, but have you? I mean, I find that I like erotica, but I really like romance better because I find that it makes those erotic scenes more special, obviously, because you know the characters. But there is a place for both.
Absolutely, there is. And I'm in the same boat. I'm a romantic. I love the build up, I love the teasing, I love the tension, and also the idea that romantic relationships can be physical, but they don't need to be. And
Right.
it's the build towards that. Whereas I've found with a lot of erotica, it's very heavily weighted in the other way. It's very much about physical relationship as opposed to emotional or intellectual relationships. So it's a different thing.
So this is a question that's out there, and Crystal asked, "Is there a professional stigma associated with reading gay fiction?" I would
Yes.
imagine, yes, there is.
Yeah. In a word, yes. We're
Yes.
dealing with a time when it wouldn't have been nice if we could all have spaces to share the stories that we want to share, to be equipped with the tools to do that. There is, however, in the industry, a prejudice against any non-cis het work. And the issue then is many of your favorite actors, favorite people you've seen on screen, on stage, may be having to hide who they really are because they will lose work if they are open.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, with that story about, what happened in 2011 versus what happened in 2020, it's, obviously actors are realizing that there is this place where you can do a lot more audio work. I have to say that. But also that you can just, as Edward does, you can have a pseudonym and definitely work with it. So someone says, "Can you sing, Edward?" I assume you must be able to if you're in musical
I can.
theater.
I can. Enjoy it very
That's
much.
I can so see that. Here we go. Let's see here.
We do, Crystal. We have come so far, and we are very privileged in some parts of the world. So, love to all of you out there who may not feel that they can come forward and be open about who and what you are.
It's definitely, with the world today, and I don't want to get into politics because you guys know I'm a big liberal in the U.S. sense, but it's been very dismaying. But it has gotten better. We have gotten opportunities that we didn't have before. But at the same time, like I said, YouTube didn't just demonetize a chapter with sex in it; they nuked it. They nuked it.
Wow.
So that's why we have so careful. Because I mean, here we are coming up on Everdark, and I want to share this all with you. And they're nuking our chapters because even though there's nothing that I would not have had in, for example, an Audible book, an Amazon, on Amazon or on iTunes or anything, YouTube's like, no, we're just going to nuke that, even though that's perfectly acceptable elsewhere. So we just have to be really careful. Let's see here. There's so many. Oh my God, guys, there's so many questions, and I just want to give Edward the really good ones. I would say that one of the things that's that really has fascinated me about watching you work is how you seem to be able to read the character like so quickly. I can't like for example when I wouldn't have put any like in Citrus and Ashes especially, where I may not have put a lot of description about what the character is like, you seem to have picked up like this is you understand like almost like you hear them and you're like relaying that. It's really cool. Do you just get a sense from how the wording is, or how do you, or you just get something in your head about what this person is like?
I'm one of those people that loves to work from the text, the script, whatever that is, and I believe that most of the answers are there. So I keep going between the text and my own imaginings, but it's grounded in that. It's grounded in that story. So for Cinders and Ashes, everything from the cover art to what's come before to getting onto your fabulous website and looking at the other artwork and other projects there helps me have a sense of you as the creator, the writer, the producer of this work, of what world it lives in. So for me, it's imagining. It's the best thing about reading, and why I love to read is it stimulates my imagination, as if I could make a movie with unlimited budget in my head.
Yes, exactly. So this is not as surprising. I think I've asked you this before too. Do you ever feel embarrassed when reading out scenes? I feel embarrassed listening and editing my own love scenes. So it's perfectly fine if you do.
Embarrassed, no. Sometimes, oh, the closest I've become to being embarrassed is when I feel that I have had a very intimate look into the writer's psyche as to perhaps their own personal peccadillos that they can't perhaps act on. The sort of things I might know about a friend or a lover, but not about a complete stranger I'm working for. So maybe a little bit in that sense, but otherwise, there's a huge difference between a love scene that is the culmination of a lot of other build-up and a book that is purely about body smashing. Those
Yes.
ones, honestly, it's the writing that's embarrassing, not what's going on.
I'm using body smashing in something. That I'm using that. Okay, so another question here is, Edward, how do you prepare yourself for each different character? Like acting on screen is different, but voiceover is hard. I think they want to know if there's any difference in how you prepare when you're going to be, doing a voice work versus an actual on the screen.
Oh, preparation in what sense? In terms of a vocal warm-up is very important when working on microphone. People don't understand that, but actors are athletes. And we use our whole bodies, our minds, our hearts. And if you're going to be reading a book or, for example, doing a video game for 4+ hours in a booth where you have to yell and scream and perhaps alter your own natural voice use in certain ways, that can put a lot of strain and wear and tear on the vocal apparatus. So for those of you thinking of getting into this, absolutely go and learn, but learn technique. So I will do a short vocal warm-up to make sure that the full range of my voice is available to me, from the lovely warm tones on a microphone up to the sinus registers and noses for more obnoxious characters. And then I have imagery. I love pictures. I love the artwork that have been created for Everdark. So sometimes by looking at those pictures, it stimulates me. Reading some of the text ahead and then jumping into the work and being surprised and delighted at where the story goes. In terms of playing individual characters, for me, it's very much a physical shift in terms of where a character speaks from and how I imagine the character's body around me.
You've
So,
even told
lots of
me like how you get close to the microphone sometimes or farther
absolutely.
away.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way a microphone can be used can also alter how a character is perceived. There's a thing for all of you called the proximity effect, which is when you sit closer to a microphone, it's as if someone is whispering in your ear. So that's why, is it ASMR? Is that what it's called? They're
Yeah.
whispering into microphones. It creates a much more intimate feeling versus if you sit back off the microphone and you can hear more of the room tone.
So we have another question for you. When you do voice work, do you read ahead or do you go in blind and find out what happens in the story as you go?
I read ahead.
Yeah.
It's important as someone who is telling a story for you, for the audience, that the narrator especially is aware of where the story is going and has some kind of attitude towards it, to you, the audience, to the characters that they are telling the story about. So I read ahead. I don't think it's okay just to wing it. It can be done, cold reads can be done, but they're better if you read ahead and understand how the story is evolving. That said, in both Cinders and Ashes and in Everdark, I have been thinking the story is going to go one way, and it's turned. And I love that as both an actor and a reader, is when I am surprised and delighted by how the story unfolds.
Well, serial fiction, especially as I'm going through Everdark now and I'm editing, and it's funny, even though for those of you reading it, of course, you're reading it in real time, like as it's, going forward. But there were months between some chapters. There was a month that would pass, and I would have a different idea. And I would be like, I have to go down this rabbit hole. So now I'm having to smooth it so that it makes sense in as one story that's read from beginning to end, rather than as a story that, 3 chapters or 4 chapters per month, and then people would give feedback and then I would adapt. So that's another sense of it. In Cinders and Ashes, which has been written as a book, which is a different process, has still, it's amazing to me how it's gone off the rails, and yet off the rails has been so much better than what I actually intended. But that's also why it's now 6 books, and hopefully it will not be 7, Edward, although I want you for the next series that I'm doing, as always. So we will
Talk to
see
my
where
agent.
we're at. Oh my God. So we have another question. How do you record? Are you together with the team? Or are you alone?
It depends. It depends on the session. I have a studio, and I record in that studio, often alone. As the narrator, that's not too hard. The biggest thing is bloopers, which everyone is asking about, or outside noise that I have to stop, and that kicks out of the flow, and that's always very frustrating. Sometimes I have the pleasure of having the other artists in the studio with me, but after COVID and restrictions of space use, things like that, it's been more and more having actors working in separate spaces and not hearing their voices.
Yeah, we had some fun, especially when we do, those question and answer sessions where people are everywhere. I mean, we had Bruno, who voices Kamorn. He's like in England. It's like midnight. And he's with us in the dark. So I always so he's far from us, but we miss him. Okay, so another question, Edward. Have you ever asked a family member to help you read lines with you for a movie you're acting in?
I have indeed. There have been times when I have been sitting in a hotel room recording an audition for things, and I've been by myself. I've been in transit, so I have cracked open the laptop and put someone on Zoom and put the laptop next to the camera, and done my best to work with them. It's a real challenge, but yes, my mother has read for me before.
Moms are the best. Have you ever lost your voice from reading too much? Especially, you shouldn't say that with Everdark. And I'm like, oh, by the way, because I was like, it was funny. I poked Hannah. I'm like, by the way, has Edward also done book, 5 of Cinders and Ashes on top of like the 500 chapters I'm having him do of Everdark? It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Please, Raythe. I'm sorry. I haven't lost my voice from reading too much yet. I think it's very important to know the limits of your instrument, your body. And when concentration wanes, when the voice starts to get scratchy, starts to get phlegmy, starts to not have the qualities you want, to stop. I find it better to work for a few hours every day than trying to push out marathon sessions of 8 hours at a time.
Awesome. So I guess this is for me. What made you say, I guess I want to write gay romance, not others like lesbian, bisexual, etc. I wrote my first gay romance when I was 10. And that was before I really even knew what it was. I've been thinking a lot about this question. I'm older than many of you. I'm 48. So you have to keep that in mind. And I was a big reader of, science fiction and fantasy that was even older than me, probably in the 60s and 70s, stuff from that, because it was my brother's. And oftentimes the viewpoint character was a man. And it seemed like when it was a woman, it seemed more restrictive. And I think that that is true, especially in romance. Women have to be someone you like, the reader likes, or someone the reader wants to be, or their best friend. And they have a lesser ability to be flawed. And it really felt like I was having to, quite frankly, deal with this Mars and Venus idea. And there was just a lot more restrictions on me. And I wanted people to just love the characters and be able to write the characters however I wanted them to be. And I do find with gay fiction, you can fall in love with either character. You can fall in love with Julian or Damon, Christian or Balthazar, or you can love all of them. Versus when you're writing het romance, you can only fall in love with, for some people, the male partner, and you have to feel you could be or enjoy the female partner. But there's oftentimes almost like a jealousy thing going on there with that female aspect. Like she's not worthy of that kind of love. Versus when I'm doing to men, nobody's thinking that, even if the characters are very flawed. So, and and that's a lot of what I would say, but I know that I came up also in a time when, quite frankly, men were just the viewpoint characters, and I became more comfortable with that, which sounds terrible. But like I said, I think that the limitations, though, as I've gone forward, I've just found myself much more intrigued by this. Why don't I write FF? I sometimes do. Like I have lesbian characters and I have het characters as well in the stories now. But I just found that there was a lot more freedom, and it's just something that I've always written. So that was a long answer.
It's a
Let's
good
see
one,
here,
though.
Ryan.
A
Oh,
really, really
thank you.
interesting point of view. And I hope you get a chance to speak to Hannah here. Perhaps one day, ladies and gentlemen, you can invite them on.
Yes.
Hannah has had experiences, and I'm not going to go too far into her story because it's her story, about how feedback from fans, sometimes very negative feedback as a female narrator, in that the audience dislikes how a character sounds. But I've not had the same thing for male love interest characters.
Right.
So it's, you didn't sound right, I don't like your voice. But there doesn't seem to be the same pushback for male characters, which is interesting.
It is an interesting thing to have happen, but I just think that it's a very much a part of romance is very personal. I'm not going to say that science fiction and fantasy aren't too, but I don't know, romance feels, for the reader, I think it's a much more personal, intimate connection with those characters in a different way than when you're reading other types of genre fiction. And I think that when it's, a female main character in a het space, it just, there's just a much more narrower acceptability. And it's
Yeah.
higher, as Hannah's found, like if she has to be perfect and it has to be exactly like I think in my head. And if something is not quite right, then it's not, it doesn't work for them. So,
Exactly. It's brutal.
okay, so we got another question here for you, Edward. Have you ever come across a scene in a script that you ever felt uncomfortable or upset with? If so, how did you proceed or deal with that situation?
Fantastic question, my I am. Yes, I have. I have been asked to do things on set, on screen, on stage that I was not uncomfortable with, that I was uncomfortable with. But I think most really exciting work tends to make anyone uncomfortable. We are socialized our whole lives not to say and do certain things. And in the artistic space, very often the characters we're playing are engaging in those activities, those fantasies, those hidden taboo things. So, of course, I feel uncomfortable all the time. Excuse me. However, upset's a different issue. A good company can make a space that is very, very safe, that is very brave, whereby we can work despite that being uncomfortable. Because maybe I should be uncomfortable with the material that we're working on. Maybe it is meant to be upsetting, but it's just acting. It's make-believe. I'm not living that life. I have the privilege of pretending to live in circumstances which I would wish on no one. That said, there is also occasionally exploitative or pretty vile stuff that comes up. And when I get those in a script, I just say no. I say thank you very much. I'm not interested in this project.
Right.
then that's something I think that takes time. I have privilege in terms of how I appear, so that I can get away with that. I think perhaps if I did present as a woman, I'd be told I'm being difficult. So that's another thing that we need to negotiate as artists. But for me, I just simply say, nope, not interested, thanks very much, and move on.
I mean, I'm so glad that you're able to do that because I imagine that there are, just you hear the things that go on when the Harvey Weinstein stuff came out, which, for women, but I know that men, I'm sure, had the same type of pressures in different ways. And that's always so disturbing because, especially I know with actors, you feel that you know them, and they mean a lot to you. I know they've meant a lot to me over the years, and the thought of them being put in these terrible situations and they just have to smile and, grin and bear it is just, I think that was just more disturbing for that thought because you think of actors as having, even though this is silly, I suppose that's celebrity, but they don't have a lot of power, especially when they start out, or even not even then, I guess.
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you.
I don't think this has been directly asked, but how did you get started in voiceover work? More for audio, so for audiobooks. I know that you started doing more for Her Grace Reads, but had you been doing audio work before, like audiobooks before, not just games or stuff?
I did some audiobook work when I was a child, I think. I did some learning to speak English books. That was decades ago. In terms of audiobooks proper, it was a choice to explore this space and see what it was like, because I have done tons of audiobooks through, not through self-published things, the way we work, the way I can directly engage with someone like you. But that's a very, very different process. To me, it was simply an actor is a mercenary. We go where the work is. And if you can do it, then do it. So how did I get started? I think someone said, could you read this for me? And I did. And one thing led to another. And people pass around who you are and that you're good to work with. And you end up doing more and more and more.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, like I said, I feel so lucky. Okay, this is a question that's just going to put you on the spot because I'm right here. And that's just like, are you a fan of Raythe's writing? And it's okay if you were to say no. I'm just grateful you'll do it.
Am I a fan of Raythe's writing? Yes. Yes, I am. I think Raythe has created a fantastic space for people to share stories and to come together like this and enjoy together. I like some of the series better than others, I will say. But that's just a matter of aesthetic taste. Yeah, I'm into dragons. I'm into vampires. I am into the sci-fi, the Empire of Stars series. I've just started that one. But yes, I am a fan of race writing, and that's why I do it. If I wasn't a fan of it, I wouldn't be here doing this today, meeting all of you.
Right. Seriously, guys. He's been so generous. All of them have it. Edward has been so generous with his time. So will we be getting any bloopers? We have not heard it. We've asked for bloopers, by the way. This is very exciting.
Take that up with the producers. we don't make bloopers, do we, Raythe?
No, not in the least. Okay, please do not cut us off. Please do not cut us off. They're all begging for bloopers. This is like so funny.
Can you ask Edward real quick what mic he's using?
Edward, what mic are you using? Kat wants to know.
Currently, I'm using an onboard mic on an iMac. I do have a Neumann TLM 103 set up here if we want to go to that.
Okay.
That's very exciting. Everyone's shouting bloopers in the yeah.
Of course they are.
We'll do something about it, of course.
Nice.
All right.
It was a condenser, but I guess
So they're asking if I have writer's block. No, because I don't have the chance. And I know that sounds very ridiculous, but I have on the site a calendar, and 3 days a week, if not 4 days a week, I must write and must get out a quality chapter. If I do not, I am falling down on the job. And it really is a situation where having done this now for a decade, I can honestly tell you that it gets easier and easier. Writer's block is when nobody is waiting on you. Writer's block is that indulgence you have when you don't have to do things professionally. And I hate to say that, but I had writer's block when no one was waiting to hear my work. But now I'm like, holy crap. I'm not saying that there aren't chapters where I'm like, yeah, I think I wish I had had more time on that, or but you just can't. You just have to keep going. It's just like whether you want to do it or not. Okay, how about this question, Edward? How would
Mhm.
you advise an adult who never thought that work in acting or voice acting would be possible to go about to get a career in that direction? How would you suggest they go about doing it, which is a big question?
It is. It's a massive question. I don't think there's such a thing as a career anymore in what we do as artists. It's we train our skills and then we go out and try to work with other like-minded individuals. Let me make it simple. Get a book that you enjoy. Sit down, record it. Even a few chapters. Because if you hate it, if you cannot stand the thought of sitting in a small dark room with soundproofing for hours and hours and hours, then this is not for you. So begin by getting some work, recording it, then edit it. Because many beginning voiceover artists have to also edit and produce their own work. So that would be a great place to start. If you can get through that yourself and not want to pull your hair out, then you can go and start submitting it to people and see if they enjoy your work, enjoy your voice, enjoy your ability to tell a story, because that's all we're doing, telling stories. I would then begin to slowly invest in training, resources, and gear to improve. But don't go out and buy thousands of dollars worth of gear before you're ready for it. So I hope that's a good start.
No, that's a really, really good start. Have you ever felt burnout? And if so, how do you get over it?
That's for you, Raythe.
That's for me.
Nice
Have I ever
dodge
felt
try.
burnout? No. I'll be honest with you. Wraith Rain is where I fuel. I work as an attorney during the day so that my mortgage is never dependent on anything. Although we've blown past that finally, where I could live off of Wraith Rain and pay my employees, but I'm more inclined that I want to be honest with you, making sure that we can invest in Wraith Rain and do things like with her Grace Reads. I want to make sure that, quite frankly, other that my employees get more of stuff. So Wraith Rain is my joy, to be honest with you. So that doesn't burn me out. Have I been burned out at work? Yes. I am burnt out now with it, to be honest with you. But I have this wonderful thing, this podcast coming up. I'm talking with Edward, I'm talking with you, and that just helps me. And it's the only thing you can really do is just sort of find something that gives you joy.
And this gives me great joy, Wraith. This direct interface with people, with fans. It's amazing. And I don't know about you, but it really recharges me.
Yeah, it really does. It absolutely does, because you feel like, wow, what I do matters, because it's not in a vacuum. You're not just doing your thing and putting it out and not knowing what people feel. I mean, I think it sounds a little like, I don't know, ridiculous for me to say that I'm a storyteller. I'm not an
You
author.
are.
But yeah, I love just the thought of like talking to people, which is, another person just asked, like, why do you do serialized fiction? And that's exactly why, because serialized fiction, the way I do it, has feedback from the audience. So I know immediately how people deal with it. And it's just so much more fun than writing the books, which is why I've actually put Sitters and Ashes 6 on the website to get in. Like, I'm not getting many comments because people just feel like, oh no, I can't, it's a book series. But truthfully, just to know that people are going to read it and going, while I'm doing this, that it's just not in this vacuum waiting to hand it off to Edward, waiting to get it up on Amazon, has made a whole big difference. And I think better stories. Let's see here. I think this is another one for you. Well, that's sort of like, he's already explained that. So let me just go on. Oh,
There's so many good questions
I
here.
know. This
Want to
is
answer all the
ridiculous.
things, but time.
I know. That's what I was going to ask you, Edward. Please let me know when you need to sign off, because that's perfectly acceptable.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm being made to feel very welcome, and I have many similar questions to those that are being asked in the chat, so I really think that's amazing. A smart, good-looking audience too.
A smart, good. Yes, they
Yes.
are. They're a big fan of my work. Do you plan on making a werewolf story at some point? I already have. It's called Crimson. It's a retelling of Cinderella. Not Cinderella. It's Little Red Riding Hood.
Little Red Riding Hood, yeah.
God, supposedly, which is not. It's just not. I know Crimson went off the rails, but also Everdark Academy, which Edward may have glanced at and like shuddered because he's like, "Does she want me to do that next?" It's the sequel to Everdark. It's actually going to be a trilogy. And Everdark Academy is the next input, and in that we actually do with the immortal Warren, who is the shapeshifter.
Yes.
Yeah, vampire bloodline. So there we go here. I did it. I did a terrible job when I listened to like Edward and the others do their characters because they're saying I did a good job in Dragon's Reign. Edward, I don't know if you listened to it at all, but I was trying to do. Ilarion is Russian, and I couldn't do a Russian accent, so somehow he kept changing his voice every single time I spoke as him, but nobody seemed to notice, so that was pretty good.
No, we don't care. It happens all the time. There are many actors out there who do the same thing. They go on a tour of Europe.
Tour of Europe, yes.
It's like, where are you meant to be from? It doesn't matter. An audience will forgive many sins if they love what's the story.
Yeah, no, that is so true. But I was like, when everyone's like, well, I don't know if I want the actors. I want you to do it. I said, listen, when you hear these actors, you're going to be like, Raythe, shut up. Don't say anything ever again. So
what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Should we pressure Raythe, put more pressure on to do a guest star in Everdark Academy or something like that?
Oh, yes. Oh, my, I must do something now. Because I just going to pretend that I'm as good as you and have to be in there.
There's also a thing that a good team makes everyone seem better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Lift all boats in a way.
Absolutely.
So, how did you go getting your books published? Oh, guys, I'm totally independent. So, I mean, that's actually a very complex question, but I mean, I'm completely independent. So everything that's published is like I use Ingram Spark for the hardbacks, use Amazon KDP for the ebooks, and then of course we've got our own site for the serials. So, and this is the writer's block thing. No, wait, gotta go down here. Okay, for Raythe and Edward, what's your favorite dessert to eat?
Oh.
I know, that's hard.
Oh, it's right now. I would love some cheesecake.
Oh, God. Yes, but you know what I really like is dark chocolate mousse.
Oh,
It's
yes.
so good.
Yes, let's have that.
I agree. I agree. I'm just like, wow. All right, hold on a second. Just scrolling through the comments that I'm way behind on. But okay, Edward, this is another question for you. What you no guys, stop asking him this stuff about my stuff.
Don't ask Raythe. Oh.
Uh-oh, my Zoom meeting has ended.
That's all right. I'll log back in.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna have to set up a new Zoom meeting, which is I'm not really sure.
Oh, because of the 40-minute thing?
Yes.
Matthew,
would
I'm thinking
literally
of raspberry cheesecake at the moment.
Okay, start a meeting. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, guys. So hopefully we'll have him on, but I shouldn't keep him we shouldn't keep him that much more. Just
Yeah, you don't want to.
because,
You don't need to talk to me. Talk to
he's
Raythe.
a busy guy. But let's see if I can get him back for one more time.
We can, yes, you can all hear us, but we can't hear each other. There's a terrible delay between us,
Okay.
which is awful.
I told him another Zoom lick sent, so hopefully he will know that's
the
lick.
professional author telling
And
me that.
I haven't embarrassed myself too terribly with all of that. We'll see if he gets back on. Thank you guys for all your wonderful questions, though, to him, to me. Um,
I'm back.
I think he's still there. So, but we will see.
I'm here.
You're there.
Hooray!
Hooray! I was like, you may take this as a chance to exit.
Stage left, pursued by bear. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so all right.
That was
What's-
just an attempt for Raythe to dodge that question, Sarah. Oh, the technology! Oh no! Oh, something's happened here.
He's suddenly muted forever.
Lily, yes, we can. Yes, he suddenly got muted and disconnected forever. Right.
Forever.
I have a big soft spot for Cinders and Ashes because that was my first Raythe experience. And I also love how the story of Cinderella has been retold, keeping the core elements and turned into something quite lovely. So I, like all of you, I hope you're all looking forward to the big ball.
Yes, we're having the big ball at the end of this one. I might have to push this out another month so that I have all the chapters in. Because I'm really like debating, because I'm like, it's either a 7th book or more time. Anyway, it's just going to be longer than the other ones. Just so be prepared. Be prepared.
Be prepared.
Okay, so Edward, what's your favorite film and why? Theirs is Forrest Gump, and they have memories of a lot of lines from watching Tom Hanks. So do you
Jodie
have a
Forrest
favorite
Gump
film?
is a fantastic film, isn't it? And Tom Hanks is quite the
Yeah.
actor. I don't have a favorite film. I am one of those people that has a favorite of the moment. And I frequently go back and rediscover my old favorites too. So, yeah, favorites, I love all of the good ones. And honestly, I also kind of enjoy hating bad films.
Yes.
Hate watching?
God.
Yeah. There's a pleasure in that too.
Every Vin Diesel film, because I find him so comforting. I don't know why, but I mean, it's terrible. It's genuinely terrible. But I do feel like, I do enjoy watching him at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Edward, which character from either Cinders and Ashes or Everdark could you relate to, or can you see yourself as?
Oh, when I'm reading characters, I try to relate to all of them in the sense of try to have an experience as them. For my characters, I really like Balthazar. I am a huge fan of Balthazar. I think I get who he is, his pretense, his cover to appear to be so sophisticated and charming and handsome, and having a massive romantic heart. Pretending nothing matters when everything really does. So I really love Balthazar. In Cinders and Ashes, there's a few different ones. I really enjoy Finn. Yes, I think Finn is one of my favorites in that, just because of having to make really difficult decisions. And I'm a huge fan in storytelling of complex moral decisions that sting either way you go.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to write those though, because I want to save my characters from them, to be honest with you. It's hard to make it there.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is another question, do you sometimes regret how you portrayed a character after a while? Before Edward actually answers this, actually Jay was playing William in Everdark, and he thought that William was going to be one way, and then William changed. Now he's like, crap! I heard this from Hannah, that he was like, what? No, I can't like him now. But Edward, do answer this. If is there any character that you've come to regret playing a certain way?
That sounds like a very interesting question, Shiro. I sometimes look at things or listen to things and see missed opportunities. I think art is always in progress, and I think any artist always wants to go back and tweak and fix and pluck and make better. But the perfect is the enemy of the good, and then nothing would ever get shared or done. So regret's a strong word. I have regretted taking some roles, shall we say, when I've seen what's been made of it. So I guess, yes, I have, Shiro. But not in Everdark yet.
Right, not yet. Someone asked me
Don't
about
make me
my name.
regret it.
For names, I use Fantasy Name Generator, and I also look for meaning of names. And sometimes name just clicks. just clicks. But okay, so another question for you, Edward.
I'm going to
If you
share
could
something from another
create,
writer friend of mine. She admitted that sometimes she writes names that she cannot and has not pronounced
oh my
uh,
God. Oh,
because
that's
they
just bad.
look cool when written on the page.
Yes, although I have to admit, some of those Elven, well, Fey names in Cinders and Ashes, you must have been like, there's a U in this and it should not be by that X. So,
Oh, all the time, all the time. That's why fantasy and science fiction can be very, very difficult because of that. And it happens all the way from independent and self-produced work all the way up to the big boys. When you turn
yeah.
around and ask them, how is this said? And they all shrug. And, I don't know, how do you want to say it? Or have to call up headquarters in LA to ask.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, no, I'm definitely guilty of that because I love using the fantasy name generator, and they have the best names for just everything. So that's where I get a lot of them. But I also look for meanings to make sure that matches with the character or gives like some hint about what might happen in the story. Okay, so Edward, we have another character. We have another question, and this will be really good for you because you are a D&D nerd like me. If you could create your own character in the Raythe universe, what would he, she, them be? Human, vampire, shifter, alien,
Oh,
etc.
well, I think it depends on which book I'm in, which story I'm in, to be honest. Um, I think I would enjoy playing a shifter, I think.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be cool. I mean, I wish I was a vampire because, like, all my health problems would be gone and I'd be, like, pretty because I think they all just turn pretty, man.
I think
That's the
that's
idea.
the rules. Yeah. Then again, I think dragon would be pretty cool too. I could be a dragon shifter. Why not?
Oh, I know. I know. Although I was talking about that with someone and I said I wouldn't want the responsibility. I mean, being one of 9 ruling the world, I think I would be with Valerius, who was like, go away, President of the United States. I do not wish to
Absolutely.
discuss world
Yes.
matters.
Go away, you little thing. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, another question for you, Edward. Can anyone be a voice actor who can't change their voice to sound different from their own? And if they dislike the sound of their own voice, if you dislike the sound of your own voice, I'm going to guess that being a voice actor would be hell on earth. But if you can't do accents, is that sort of a deal breaker, Edward, do you think, in the business of voice acting?
I think it will severely limit you. Voice use and speech are a technical skill, and it's one that can be learned and that one that can be practiced. And there are so many resources available now, even on YouTube, for you to begin that process. It takes you about 5 years to learn any skill to a professional standard. So start now, Jody, because in 5 years more, you'll just be looking for shortcuts. Not liking your own voice, that is incredibly common. And I know so many actors, even voice actors, who do not enjoy listening to the sound of their own voices. You need to have a flexibility in your voice in terms of being able to shift it to sound a little bit different and to work with things like dialect and accents. And be consistent is important too.
How do you deal with stage fright, though, Edward? Do you ever have stage fright um, for
Yes,
anything you're
absolutely.
doing? Yeah.
Absolutely. Usually the night before the first shoot of something, I have great difficulty sleeping, or before opening nights. I let myself be scared for a while. I give myself 2 minutes to absolutely freak out, and then I get on with it.
Excellent, excellent advice, to be honest with you. So, another question is, what do you like to do during your spare time? And what is your favorite song to sing?
Oh, spare time? What's that? I've heard a story about it. At the moment today, I'm going to go and sit in the park and stare into nothing and have something to drink because it's a gorgeous day today where I am. What do I like to do in my spare time? I read a lot, I write, I create, I talk to interesting people who tell me exciting stories and teach me new things. Lots of things. What is my favorite song to sing today? Just because we're talking about it earlier, Beauty and the Beast, If She Can't Love Me.
Aha, aha. I can't sing, guys, so don't even ask. Because people are like, do your Illyrian voice. I can't in front of Edward because this is where stage fright takes place. what I would love at one point, although this will just totally shame me, is I would love to hear your version of Valerian's voice, because you're like grab like a little section of, I don't know, Dragon's Reign or something, just to hear how you would do the characters, because I just obviously I love how you do things, and I think that would be amazing. But no, don't worry, don't worry. We're certainly not having me do any voice acting right now. Oh, goodness. Okay, this is all about, oh yes, Raythe, come in and basically, be a voice actor with all these professionals. No,
Everybody begins at the beginning. Everybody
they
starts
do.
somewhere. And the process of learning, sometimes we fail a lot more than we think we do, and we shouldn't be scared to fail. Yeah.
So Lily wants to basically take over the next stream too, the two of you, and I'm sure you could. It'll be much more entertaining than what I do. Really, good lord.
Watch out, Raythe. Lily's coming for you.
I know
For
she
the
is.
crown.
She's gunning for me. Yes. Hold on one second here. I'm scrambling over here. Okay. Well, this was one he's just answered. My favorite downtime activity are games, and I just love movies and all that kind of stuff. I write what I like to see, to be honest with you. That's so, I'm definitely not doing something that I wouldn't want to listen to. Another very deep question for you, Edward. What do you think makes a character? I mean, wow, that's a
Oh
good
God,
question.
how many hours have we got?
I know, seriously.
For the actor, character is revealed through behavior. So how someone does what they do, because characters will lie even to themselves. But as the story unfolds, what they do when confronted with hard choices, to me, that's what character is. How you do what you do. If you're talking about archetypes, the sort of characters colloquially, the most interesting, exciting ones we see on TV, I don't know. Good stories that are around them. Yeah, I don't know, CJ. A great question. What do you
I know
think?
that's a really hard one. I'm glad that was for you.
It's for you too.
No. I'm going into the superpowers one.
Ah,
Okay, it's for both of us. What superpowers would you like to have? And I've always thought that I would love to have the power of flight. I mean, I'd like to have all the powers, but definitely the power of flight, man, would just be amazing.
I think I would like to have the power to change into anything,
So last week
because
I
then I could
admitted
fly.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. So this is for you because I answered this question. What type of shifter you would be? I said I would like to be a chonky cat because that's what I already am. So what type of animal shifter would you like to be?
Oh, like to be, or which I am, because I think that's a different
Both.
concept, isn't it? Sort of, I'm a shaved monkey shifter. Is that what I am really? Who pretends he knows what's going on?
Oh my
I,
god.
I don't know. An otter shifter, maybe? No. No, I'm too big for
Oh.
that. Maybe just a
Oh.
very angry hedgehog.
An angry hedgehog. Yes. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Sounds like another. Here's a serious question. Do you ever plan on turning one of your books or series into a show? Yes, because I have control over Netflix. Did you not know this, Edward? And Edward, would you want to be a part of it? Um, you guys are shaming me yet again. Uh, Honestly, the closest, yes, of course I would love to have a show, and of course I would love Edward to be a part of it.
Aw!
Yes, absolutely. I don't know how I would, if they ever, like, let's just in Fantasyland, if they ever did Everdark, and I don't know, actually kept it as a gay romance, which they probably wouldn't. Um, I really can't imagine, honestly, someone else playing Balthazar than him. So it's like an interesting thing. But from your lips to Netflix's ears, but I don't think so, especially as they're, I don't think that they'd find us, but but like I said, we're trying to do, we're doing the manga, which is as close to animation as we can do. And so we're working on it. We're working on it. Okay, so for Edward, do you prefer reading a book or listening to audio version of it?
Depends who's reading it. There are
Yeah.
some there are some artists out there who are amazing, and I love listening to them. But I can have a book with me and just whip it out whenever I need it, and immerse myself in that. So I read a lot. Again, depends on who's reading it. I love, for instance, Stephen Fry. If you've listened to him narrate some of his
Yes.
books, he's quite amazing.
He is. He is. Simon, oh God, I can't think of his last name. And it's such a shame. He does so many books. He's done the Dune books. He's done Shakespeare. He's done, oh my God, like Sherlock Holmes. He's amazing. He's truly amazing.
Is that Simon Kello?
Yeah, I think that's who I'm thinking of. I think.
Or
Anyway, he
Simon
sounds
Vance, maybe. He's another big narrator.
so for
Scott
Edward.
Simon?
He's British, or at least he sounds British.
Well, don't we all when we need to?
Don't we all? Right. Okay. For Edward and Raythe, what is your favorite D&D character you created? I actually have just did the I was dungeon master. So I did not create any character, but Edward, I think you're dungeon master too, but you've created characters as well, I'm sure. Maybe not.
Oh, yeah. I'm also running a game. Currently, we've been running for now 2.5 years. And we're all actors and writers in it, so it's a little silly. And I actually like the characters they create. I find them much more interesting because I get to come up with the, villain of the week or the strange NPC that comes in and proceeds to disrupt everything.
That I know. I get to ruin things for them.
Yes.
Although I had characters in mine who literally could befriend anything. So they had this two-headed orc that was then their friend who was who could kill everything. I was like, God damn it, guys. So I had them wander off at some point. I really hope if you ever do live D&D, please let us all know because I'm sure we would all love to watch you.
Well, I'm enjoying currently. There's some of the players doing silly things, including presenting puppets.
Oh my
Wearing
God.
veils, singing, doing. Yeah, I'm dreadful to them all, and they rise to every challenge. I've yet
That
to
is
see
the
them collapse.
best. That
Yeah.
is the best. Okay, so a question for me. For Wraith, how do you write? Playing the scene in your head first, letting your pen go first. I inhabit the character. I do something called method writing. I do the point of view of each different character, and I'm actually in their heads, and they lead me. Because your left brain does a lot of the plotting work when you're not writing. You'd be surprised how much is actually done before you just let yourself go. So there is a stream of consciousness to it. There is a letting go. But I'm very much in the point of view characters. I don't know if you noticed this, although you did seem to, when you read it, you seem to notice this. You know the chapter with Kamorn that we have coming up, Edward, and how the
Yes.
writing sort of changed?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm very much in their heads. So I just sort of get to inhabit all these people. It's a little bit different.
A good writer can do that. They adjust tempo, rhythm, vocabulary, all sorts of things. And both for Cinders and Ashes and in Everdark, and in fact, in all of your writing, Raythe, I've noticed that you do it. The biggest shifts, honestly, are between, in this one, things like Kamorn and Artemis.
Yes.
Their chapters, they have a very different voice than perhaps with Christian. But even they all do. If you go back and look at them, I really find that the chapters which are written from Balthazar's point of view are very different than Daemon's, are very different than Christian's as well. They're all different.
Yeah, there's like a distance with Daemon, like a sort of, it's interesting. I didn't realize it until I heard you doing it. I was like, oh yeah, it is different. So for Edward and Raythe, how do you feel about Heartstopper, which is, I think, a gay show on Netflix? I have not watched it, so I don't know anything about it. Do you know anything about it, Edward?
I haven't watched it yet either. I've been busy being trapped in a booth recording things for someone.
Yeah, for some reason, for some woman who wants me to keep doing this. I know. So for Edward and Raythe again, if y'all were not currently in this business, writing, lawyer, voice actor, what would you all be or do? I can't imagine being anything else, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been interesting, with the Great Resignation here, my day job is terrified I'm going to leave. Because they're like, they know I have this successful business that's more than a side business. Obviously, it is what I want to do, but healthcare is always sort of good.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I have found my way to this career through other things, and I love it.
Yeah, I can't. I feel like, if there's this highest, best use of yourself in the world, I feel like Wraith Rain and writing is it. That's just how I've always felt. So it's hard to imagine any other life. So I love how this Misty seems to think Netflix is pretty open right now. If you have an in, you let us know. Um, everyone Hash always asks how my Diet Coke is doing. Edward, you probably would be like, why are you drinking Diet Coke while you are, doing voice acting? That's not a good idea, but I love it, and that's how I am. It's doing great.
No
I've got it
shame.
right here.
No shame.
No shame. All right. So hold on. We're just going down. It's allergy o'clock. I know. I won't keep you very much. I'll keep you like 10 more minutes, Edward. Is that okay?
Totally.
All right. All right. Because it just seems like there's so many questions, and I want to make sure that they get a chance. Guys, I hope that Edward will come back again. This won't be the only time you're going to hear from him. So,
If you, I would love to be back. I've had a great time today. I'm really enjoying myself. And if, ladies and gentlemen, you would like myself and the others back, let us know. If you enjoyed it, tell your
yes.
friends. If you didn't, keep your mouth shut.
Right, right. That's exactly it. So people get your last Edward questions for this time. Like I said, like I really do want to do I want to do this more regularly, but it's, I want to, obviously he's a working actor doing a lot. So there we go. Edward, do any of the characters you've played so far become hard for you to come out of the headspace of that character when it's become, like, for example, dark? I don't know if any of them are terribly dark and ever dark, ironically enough, but
No, actually, some of them are mentally, I think, and emotionally healthier than many people I know.
right, there we
Yeah.
go.
At least some of them, they're honest. No, I love storytelling and acting because I know it's not real. So I can imagine and I can terrify myself with my imagination. And I love that. It's a safe space for me to explore not what is, but what could be. So I think it's a privilege for me to be able to do this. And even when I am playing characters who are objectively evil or messed up, very few of them think they are. So no, I don't. I've never gone to that place of needing help back, and I think that actors who are going to those places, you've heard stories about those things, and I know people who have done that, that perhaps that could be the sign of some underlying other condition in their life, or undiagnosed illness. And I keep my personal life very separate from my work as an actor. It's a job.
Yeah. No, I think that's really very true. I have, for myself, put some of you have noticed, Christian's arc with David. That is very much, unfortunately, from my life, not fully, not the deaths, but I can sometimes use some of my own background definitely to add something in, but I find it cathartic rather than disturbing. So this one's, I guess, for me, for Raythe, when you write characters, how do you come up with them? Do you just see a name and think that you could just use it someday, or do they just appear fully developed? It takes months. I'll have an idea, and the character will start to take shape. I actually will start looking at images on Google to find what I think is the look. I then start talking to Kat and Sylvia about the character, and then I go and I have Mathia draw that character, and then more and more and more comes in, and then I actually act them out in my head. In my head I have a whole movie going on with that character. Like the next serial that's coming, called The Night Prince, I've actually been using these characters in scenes with music going forward. So that's how that all works. It's sort of complicated, but at the same time, it's I'm so used to doing it now, and it's so much fun, especially when you're beginning again. All right, for fun, for Edward and Wraith, what is your dream vacation? Edward, you have one?
A beach somewhere with blue
Yeah.
water, blue sky, a long, tall, icy cold drink, and good people to talk to.
I cannot tell you how good that sounds to me because I often go with my good friends and they have every moment scheduled. We had like 3 tours in one day, Edward. And I was like, I'm going to kill you
Yeah,
all.
no, that's murdering time. That's
Yeah.
death. I'm a big fan of we don't meet before 2 p.m., 3 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I
Heavy
wanted, they're
mornings.
like, let's get up at 7. I'm like, I don't get up at 7 for my job. So
No.
screw you.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Not happening. No, we can meet at the pool bar at a sensible hour like 4 o'clock.
Yes. Yes. So I think you have sort of answered this, Edward, but why do you do acting? They do it because they get to be whoever they want to be. Is it the same for you that you get to play different people, be different than you really are?
Absolutely. I think acting is play. I think it's that thing that many of us have done when we were children, when the world didn't tell us how we had to appear or sound or be. And it was simply creating a space where it's not as things are, but as they could be. So I have the pleasure of playing collaboratively with other artists where we all just make believe and pretend it's real and feel and speak and do. And I'm free from a lot of the constraints of everyday life. So I find it incredibly freeing, incredibly fun, and I get paid. I mean, that's
Right.
amazing.
I know. It's like the best. Yeah, I'm like,
And
you're gonna
working with great
basically.
writers and musicians and artists. I mean, when you've presented some of the artwork, which coming out is going to be fantastic,
Yeah.
just seeing the talent and the skill and the passion that is in this work inspires me. It makes me feel like I'm part of something bigger than myself, and I think that's part of why I also enjoy acting.
And guys, that is very exciting. Matthia's done some really spectacular work coming up, as you've seen some of it, but there's a lot more. And Olive T. Wolf is going to be doing a manga where she's basing her characters off of Matthia's, so they'll be different. But I can't wait for Edward to see that, especially
It's
because
going to
some
be
of his thoughts.
amazing.
Yes, I know your thoughts are being incorporated in this manga that we're
Oh
doing.
no.
So I know. It's gonna be so good. Okay, so one more question for Edward, and then really I will release him because I know he has a lot of work to do this weekend.
I wish I didn't. I
Have
wish
you
I could
ever
just stay with you guys.
have you ever come across a job that you felt one or some of the actors were not the best fit for a certain role or part? If so, how did you deal with that issue? That's a fascinating question.
It's not an actor's choice who
Yeah.
gets cast. There have been times that I've worked with people who, aesthetically, I may have felt that way, and there have been a couple of times when it's been a professional thing, but those two issues are very, very different. I'm not aware of how it'll look in the end, of how it'll sound in the end. So my job is to do my work and be the best I can be. If it's been issues of professional conduct or discipline or inappropriate conduct, then I take it up the way you would with any job, which is you speak up, make a complaint, and it's dealt with. And if it's not dealt with, you walk.
Yeah, that's a really good plan. Everything you say is like that's so adult to do that and to have that kind of viewpoint. I think as we get older, I'll have to admit I've dealt with situations much differently as I'm older than I was when I was younger.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that
Yeah,
just
as young actors, listen to me. Young actors, when they are beginning, there is a real fear, I think, of missing out. A real fear of you'll be replaced or fired if someone doesn't like you, and so it leads to compromising our own integrity or doing things perhaps that we aren't comfortable doing. And I can just say that you've got to think long and hard when asked to do things that are outside of that zone. And talk to other people. That's the other good thing. Talk to your colleagues and other professionals around you.
yes. No, that's very, very true. Well, this has been spectacular. So you can report back to the others that it was a good time. So hopefully they'll join us. We're going to fix this issue. Again, another tech issue. I'm going to work with Edward and Streamlabs to make it so that this works out better for all of us. I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer, but
Do it.
I do want to let Edward go because I feel bad. He's been on this forever, and we're running out of time again. On the
Yes. We can
Zoom.
bring in Sir Patrick. So, thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you so much for making me feel welcome, Raythe. Thank you so much, Kat. All of you in the chat, it's a pleasure to meet you, and I hope we will meet each other again. And next time, perhaps we'll talk more about Everdark and what's coming up and all the exciting things. But
We
thank you so
absolutely
much.
will. Thanks so
And
much, Edward. You take care of yourself.
pleasure. Good day, all.
Guys, thank you so, so much for making Edward feel so welcome. Yeah, he's such an amazing person. Really and truly, just I mean, they all are. They all are. I can't wait for you to meet them all. It's just such a thrill to work with them. And you know, I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it, to be honest with you. So, whew. So Sierra, I'm so glad that it's had helped you. I know that in many, many ways, books have helped me, movies, just, worlds away from where I'm at. So I really have always appreciated it. I've so appreciated it. Um, God, Edward, yeah. I hope he looks and sees all the thank yous because there's so many. Um, Let me just, yeah, his Patrick Stewart impression is excellent. You are not wrong. His voice is dreamy. It is very dreamy. Yes. So I'm so glad that they have. That's amazing. That's stunning. Stunning. That's actually even true. Yeah. I'm with you, Human 2003. Therapy, more like books. Sprinting over to the site to listen to K-Morn chapters so I can listen to his voice. So I can't wait for you to meet Bruno. He is incredibly funny. Actually, he's got this very dry sense of humor. So it's just pretty amazing. So Trixton, if you go over, so here's the deal. Edward is, as you can probably tell, is more than a working actor. So Edward Fox is not what he goes under. But you can go to her Grace Reads, just type in her Grace Reads and it should lead you to their website, and then you can look at the other audiobooks he's done so that you can see that. But I can't tell you his true name or face, but he is a very successful working actor that you might recognize. So there's that. So the next serial will be called The Night Prince. Yes, it's what it's going to be. It's going to be really cool.
We should do it because you're doing this now. We should do a character creation video about the night.
Yes.
Because people were asking about that. So
yes, that's a good point.
You're not done with it yet. We can actually go back and.
Yes, we can. So we can show you how everything happens to get a character up. It's so funny that you say that. I think he would be excellent for the Nomad. Just for my own fun, I want to just grab a few characters to see how he do them, just so I can pretend and be happy. If he makes puns, I think he could make puns. He's okay. My leg is asleep. This is not good. She had these stupid chairs. Is it about vampires? No, it is in fact, well, it's very complicated. But it is set in modern day, but it's basically what happens if elves and all those high fantasy creatures are real. So we'll do that. Yeah, it very well could be. So we won't guess though. Um, he just, yeah. I mean, we won't guess because we don't want that. What's the difference between serials and books? Are they like the same thing, like a supernatural and paranormal being used interchangeably? They are very different. Surprisingly enough, because when I was switching over between the two and having them on the site, writing a book is very different than writing a serial. Serial is not planned out for me, really and truly. It is not. It's where the characters take me. Each chapter, I get feedback from the audience, and I that helps me determine where it's going to go. Serials can be just long and sprawling and wonderful. So with story, books have to be more structured. Okay. I have been writing professionally since 2010. I have been writing otherwise for over 40 years. So there's that. The Night Prince is a mystery. Sort of. Sort of. I think he's going to actually, truthfully, I think Edward would be very intrigued by this Night Prince story, to be honest with you. So that's going to be interesting since he really does like high fantasy. So were you nervous when posting jobs for voiceovers, and were you surprised by all who applied? I figured I was giving money, so even if they thought my work was crap, that wouldn't matter because you can see what the per finished hour is, and very few people, even today, are offering that. A lot of people, and I've been very grateful for this, and I should be knocking on wood. It costs thousands of dollars to do an audiobook, thousands. To do an audiobook series like Cinders and Ashes, it's probably cost between $15,000 and $20,000. Everdark is significantly more than that. Significantly more than that. We've always made back our costs and then some. But a lot of people cannot do that. So I had always hoped, quite frankly, that it wouldn't matter if they hated my stuff. It would be for the money. But in the beginning, we couldn't offer. I mean, it's like, take my money, and no one was going to take it. And luckily, we actually got an artist who was openly gay, and he did anime, and so he was willing to do it, and it was like really great. But it was very slim pickings, very slim pickings. So it's just been interesting. What's your favorite TV show, mainly under the supernatural genre? I'm enjoying Legacies, but of course I love Stranger Things, but everyone loves Stranger Things. But I have been I'm watching this old UK show called Demons on Hulu, which is interesting. You're over 40 years old? Yeah, I'm 48, my friend. I am 48. I'm so glad that you're loving it. Just for some business to make sure that everyone knows this again, right now, if you sign up for Raythe Rain, you are able to listen to 15 chapters of Everdark. It's approximately 7 to 8 hours of uncut audio. The public podcast, of which this is a part, will not contain any sex chapters. The only place you will get sex chapters is on wraithrain.com, or if you buy the audiobook from us. That's the only place it can be. YouTube has put down the ban hammer, and all the other sites have similar TOS, and we cannot risk it. So if you want to hear the fullness of this story, unfortunately, you're going to have to put Raythe Rain into your paid bucket of entertainment from your unpaid bucket. We just don't have any control over that. But as you guys have heard, this first episode, we put our hearts and souls and opened our wallets, lots of money to get this done. And it's truly worth it. It's a total voice cast of over 5 people. Actually, there's more than that. It's more like 7 or 8 who did it, who added their voices in. So I would really, really request, if you can, to sign up. It's for $9.95. You can sign up. So that's good stuff. We are really, really hopeful that you'll do that and that you'll show us all some love and the story some love and everything like that. Let's see here. Were Alarian's dogs named planned? No, I went through and I chose them, like, again, from Fantasy Name Generator. Happy 40th writing anniversary. Not sure if that is a thing, but it's what we all have. As soon as I was telling stories, my mother tells me, before I could write. So, all right. Book. No way you're over 40 years old. You really don't sound like it. You sound younger than 40. So you're saying I'm immature. I sound immature.
Okay, so here's the thing. People mistake energy for youth. We both know that this is not the case. So I would say you have to listen to authority and knowledge, and that's how you know how old a speaker really is. Like Edward, for example. He has a lot of energy, but he also has a lot of authority coming from decades of honing his craft. So.
That's exactly true. That's really, really true. To be honest with you, it's as I've gotten older, I've actually had more energy and more enthusiasm because, quite frankly, you just realize how life does get better as you get older. Your health might not. My health is not, but that's all it is. So you thought I was in my 30s, huh? Actually, people say I look in my 30s, but I'm fat. So people who are fat don't look old, which is nice. I told you I'm a chunky cat in real life. I thought she was 35 at max. Now you're all putting me in like the old folks home. I absolutely love Discovery of Witches, although it does this thing where they have babies, and you know how I feel about babies. These people are vampires. They do not have babies. Favorite anime is Ghost Hunt. And again, Ghost Hunt. No sex chapters. In order to, I hate to say it, but you have to get it from our site and it is paid. That is just how we have to make it. It's just one of those things where you've got to put Raythe now into your bucket of paid entertainment for the full thing. We are going to put out as much as we can on, on the free stuff, but as you can imagine, with all those actors and stuff, this was expensive, and we really hope that you'll support us. I'm just 1 second here. So that's part of the deal. So really and truly, especially if you want more of this stuff, because just to give you an idea, Dragon's Reign was just Cat and I, but lest you think that it was not paid for, it was paid for. It was paid for by the members. So you may have listened to it for free, but in fact, the members paid for our time because it's a substantial amount of time. Now that we are also having people outside of this, we definitely have to encourage people to support art like this. I will be honest with you, as companies clamp down on gay stuff again, like I said, YouTube nuked our sex chapter. They didn't demonetize it. They nuked it, meaning they deleted it completely. The way you get this kind of content, you have to pay for it. You have to. You cannot rely on ad-supported model. It has to be paywalled. It's the only way to make sure that it continues on. Otherwise, we would have been devastated by that action by YouTube. Where is the podcast on the member website? I couldn't find it. Tara, it's literally, if you go to the menu, it'll say podcast. You have to sign in order to access it. But it says podcast on the menu now. I'm rather broke, but my subscription to Raythe would be the last to be cut. I need my dream time. I love it. We really try to give a lot of stuff. So in addition to obviously the podcasts, both podcasts, there are dozens of completed serials, just like Everdark. There's the Everdark sequel. There's Dragon's Reign. We have three works ongoing now. We have dozens of manga that's been done in the stories. It's really, I do believe it is worth it. And we love having you, Lily. You're wonderful. Thank you so much, Book Courting Dragon. That's really, really awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Danny, for basically, going on. Take care, Nico. Have fun at your party. Visky, yes, Visky, which I love. Thank you so much, Misty. I sort of went into this before. I just always have. I just always have. And there's, oh my goodness. So there's, someone asked before about Mew. She's in the bedroom, and Maria's come to help clean. And Mew is like looking at her like, really? You think I'm moving from the bed? It's a standoff between Mew and Maria. Who will win? Oh my God. Mew Mew, come here. Take your time. Only I'll okay, Kat, they've asked how old you are. Do you want to say how old you are?
I said in the chat. Yeah, I'm 45.
So Kat's 45, I'm 48. Thank you. Yeah, Kat looks like 25, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, it's a vampire story. What the hell are we doing with babies? I'm sorry. I'm not a big baby fan, as you know. I do not like the babies. No butt babies and no vampire babies.
No babies of any kind.
Thank you so much, Alex, for giving that as a the prompt for people. Ghost Hunt is awesome. It really, truly is. And I'm annoyed that it's not streaming anywhere, but I've got the audio. I've got the discs of it. I never realized vampires should have babies. We have been spared from that horrid CGI baby. Oh, yeah, that was horrific. That was so horrific. As Kat will tell you, I have no balance. It's all work. I pretty much work 16, 17, 18 hours a day. There is no work-life balance. But I love Raythe, so I do not see it as work. Yeah, did you have him at 12? No, not a teen mom. Which is good.
God, I hate it so much. I tried to work in my 15-year-old son, like early in the conversation. I'm like, yes, I must pick up my 15-year-old right now. Yes, I had him when I was 30 years old.
I know people really are like, no, that can't be.
What's your major?
What's your major?
What's your major is?
But I will have to say that being taken seriously and everything else is all. Do I have any lesbian books? I do not. Tech support not be to second guess you. Yes. We appreciate that. We are having to, have that discussion. It's been hard for a lot of people. It's been very disappointing, and I understand that. Believe me, I came from a life where both Kat and I have been poor, just poor, like your hands are cold in the winter type poor. So we understand that, but unfortunately, this is what we have to do. We just don't have any leeway with this, and it's going to be unpopular, but you should learn to think about the fact that if you want to support certain types of art, supporting Disney by having a Disney Plus subscription does absolutely nothing. Disney does not need your support, but that creator that you love, that has something that you've just admired, buying from them makes a huge difference. Every single penny of Raythe goes for more projects and for the people. Thank you so much, Ken. I'm so glad. There's a lot to read. Lily is wonderful. She is a wonderful, wonderful person. And, just really. Yes, Tara, it's coming. I've got it right here beside me. So like I said, everyone's going to get like a reduction in the amount of postage, because we now got it set up with stamps.com. So if you want one, you can now get a hardcover. So you can actually purchase one right now. Mew actually has one, Full Moon Witch. Literally, Maria backed away and is doing something else. We hope to see you. It's really a good time to do it. Guys, if you want to, you're like, I've just listened to chapter 1 of Everdark. What happens next? Well, you can have the next 14 more chapters right now. 7 to 8 hours of listening pleasure. High quality right now if you want to sign up. Yeah, I only do BL. Okay. Mew is personally my spirit animal. We don't know what happens to Fidel. He could become a spirit shifter, could not. I never say. I just basically, you know. You're 22, Lily. That's good because you're going to be able to keep up with that baby. Yeah, basically, that's totally fine. And believe me, it's like it is like, honestly, between 20 and 30, it's like dog years. Dog years, my friend. In between, will I show pics of Mew? I will. Yes, you all are very young. You babies. Yeah, it looks like everyone's like 22. Ooh, Trixon, you're ancient at 31 compared to I wish I was 21. Are you like a youngin? Oh my goodness. Or are you an olden? 18. If you're younger than 18, please don't tell me. I do not want children. I've never wanted children. Someone asked if it's probably too personal. It's not too personal. I think we need to honestly make it normal for women to basically say that being a mother is not what they want. I had a terrible childhood. I did not want to continue on with that for myself here. How many pets? I have one cat, but that's more than enough, as Maria can tell you, as she's still in the bed. I understand, Julia. It's not. Most people are into children. I just am not. Eleanor, yes, you've had to do the whole thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're just going through. It would be a physical book series, Ella. It wouldn't be one. It'd probably be about 7 books. If I were to do it, I'm never going to say never. I don't know what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to work it out with Kat. In order to do Everdark, it has been a continue. It's going to take over a year to get it all done, and I have so much to do. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's exactly what you should do. Canned, I love you. Just know that makes me feel like, I think I had stupid ideas when I was like 15. I thought, I'll die when I'm 18. That's so old. Like, that's ridiculous. And I thought, oh, when I'm 42, I'll be ancient. 48, my God, you're over the... Honestly, guys, you never really feel different. I mean, you get more mature, as Kat said, in terms of more expertise, but you still feel like yourself. Go on. I know. There's a lot of 19 years old, 34s. Excellent. All right. You want to do fan out of Mew? Okay.
Oh, make sure to add blood.
We do have people who come in here and say that, to be perfectly honest. And I've been like, no, do not be on this. A lot of them are like, they're mostly the people who are telling me that I have to do some elaborate things so that they could get it to listen to things. It's just like, no, come back when you're 18. Yeah, I think there's a lot of us who just don't, and I just didn't really want to pass that down to the next generation. My brothers have a total of 7 children, so there's plenty of people to continue on with our family line. Yes, I will absolutely be doing another book series. It's going to be an urban fantasy vampire series, which are going to be vampires all the time, and Edward's going to die because it's going to be like, yes, Edward, I have yet another vampire for you to do. Yeah, I know. I'm just not. It just feels like, you know, I mean, my mother did her best. My father did not, but you just don't want to continue that. And it's just not something that, it's just not me. I love all my friends' children. I've been a wonderful aunt, but to be honest with you, just not full time. So I'm there for them. Yeah. Here we go. 7. Mew with a dragon plushie. Raythe, do you want dragon plushies? Or more generally, do you like collecting merch? I do not like collecting merch myself, which is sort of interesting. I do have very limited stuff. The stuff I love, I have. I try to not. I have a very small condo, so putting all the stuff in it, it's just not good. But I love having like I take that back. I love having t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that, but not knickknacks for me. I don't. I'm a DM, so I don't really main in D&D. But I really like being a ranger in general when I'm doing like role playing games. She is an American Shorthair with the personality of a pit bull. Okay, we are winding down, guys. I cannot tell you how grateful I am to all of you for coming today, for supporting us. It has been really and truly an honor to do this for you. I cannot wait for you to continue hearing on everything. And we will be having more live streams with Edward and obviously with other members of the cast. I know Kay Morn is a favorite. I am curious how Bruno will relate to that. He still is a little bit like, how he's the villain. How can people love him? But just wait, Bruno, you will see exactly how people love him and you. All right. So take care, you guys. This was wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we shall talk.